today we have this yard machine, I think it is. Yeah, yard machine. Lawnmower. It's a 550EX, so it's like 140 cc's, 160 cc's, something like that. It definitely has a little bit of work to be done. The wheel is a tad bent. Don't know what exactly is going on with this. If it's just an adjustment, probably just an adjustment because there's 3 holes in there, so the person had this probably a little shorter. Cable, unfortunately though, is not showing good health signs. It doesn't want to retract. That in there looks pretty nasty. Feels nothing sharp. Maybe it's just frozen. Maybe we'll take a look at it. Okay, so here we are. So far, what I've done is it was a little dirty, so I cleaned it. As you can tell, it's a little wet. But I walked around a little bit more. Noticed this is having a bit of a retraction problem. We'll have to fix that. Right here appears to be missing a bolt for the cover, and someone decided to take a freebie off of it and take the filter and cover. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. We could definitely take care of that. Luckily though, when going through it, I let's take a look so you can make sure you see. Found out that whoever put this on decided to put it on backwards, and the cable actually works just fine. Okay, so kind of lost track where we were. Phone call. Yeah, so we found out this is not where it's supposed to be. It looks kind of funky in there. 9/30 seconds, 5/16. So, like I said, you can take them off with the impact, probably no problem. You don't want to do it very fast. Like that wasn't even loose. It's probably not a good sign. Let's grab. Let's put it on the desk. Keep them all together. Don't know where the tray is. Where's it over there? No. Oh well. Okay, now we take off 9/30 seconds, and this is the one that can be a little bit scary because it is going to the carburetor. It's not necessarily going to be the most world-ending thing if it does strip, but definitely be not the greatest of fun times. It's like one of those things where you wake up in the morning and you just feel like you're going to have like a bad idea or a bad accident, so you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to go especially easy on everything today. Yeah, dirty. There's no gasket or anything on there. The gasket's on the actual carburetor itself. But, ugh, what is this? So, where I live, I don't necessarily have to worry too much about certain types of pests. No tarantulas, no black widows, no. Even mice are really kind of rare. But what is not too uncommon are big brown recluse spiders. And that's just one of those things that you don't really want to mess with. Okay, so the easiest way to do this, the gas tank, it just slides right off. It just comes out of here. This one's obviously dirtier, so gonna get dirty on this one. The gas tank is still connected to the carburetor, but there's enough slack in the line to take care of that. Let's go over this too. So this, if you can see, is an auto choke lever. The exhaust gets warm enough, this kind of opens up, And from the looks of it, this is seen better days. I don't know, but why? That's weird. It's like a piece of metal is blocking the travel. Or it was bent. Because it's supposed to close. It's supposed to be like this whenever it's not running. But it's open. That may be the reason why whoever had it before couldn't get to run. They just kept on pulling until everything just kind of got tired of it and went to Home Depot or wherever and got another one. That's kind of good. Okay. Tangent. So now, if you don't have any of these, buy some. They're very useful. I'm taking off the gold clip. I think they're on probably Amazon, Home Depot. These are Pittsburgh, so that tells me I'm playing Harbor Freight, but I couldn't find any from Harbor Freight. These are Amazon. These come in a pack of 3. They're just pliers for fuel lines. Granted, you don't need this. Let me grab my little stopper. But it makes life a whole lot easier to take care of anything. Okay, I think I have company. I'll be right back. So, where were we? Fuel line. So, yet again, plastic carb. Very careful. You just want to twist it, kind of break the seal, and kind of work its way off. Eventually, it will come off. This one's pretty gooey. Here we go. And maybe when you go in the front of it, just kind of pry on it, but don't pry too hard, obviously. This does have fuel in it. Why don't we take a look at what it looks like? See if it even is fuel. Well, it's odd. There's definitely fuel in here. Is it so plugged it just doesn't want to come out anymore? Let's see. There we go. That's enough to at least take a look and see what we're dealing with here. We'll put that in the garbage. We'll put this off to the side a little bit. We'll deal with that later. So let's see what we have. Oh. So, I don't know how well you're going to see that, but on the bottom, there's definitely water. I don't know what type of areas other people live in, but at least here, water doesn't burn very well. So that's probably not helping the situation at all. Okay, you can just pull that right off. This could be a tad tricky. You bend it a little bit, you take off the choke, and then you come over here. This is just like a little L. Comes right off. Put that right there. And you have one dirty carburetor. So let me brush this off real quick and we'll open it up and we'll go from there. Let's see here. These are the same screws as was before, so 9/32. I don't think you can see very well. Let's just angle ourselves up a little higher. There we go. And it's making a decent amount of whatever is in there. So because this is a plastic carb, again, 9/32 screws, there's only 2 of them. This is a time when even I would say don't use a impact drill at all. You'll be tempted. Oh, don't think that you won't be, but don't, because you will strip this out. The problem with these, yeah, there's a lot of water coming out of this thing. Let's see if we can capture some. The problem with these is, unlike a metal one, where it can give you a little bit of leeway, there is none on this. One little slip up, your carburetor is garbage. I don't know about you, but I really don't want to garbage my carburetor. So, I still can't see very much. Let's just angle you even more. Yeah, nasty. So this is the kind of the tricky part. I kind of just want to gently pry on it. Maybe get like a large face screwdriver and just kind of open it up until one side opens, and then it usually comes off. Not very dirty, but also not very clean. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, so this is the part that can be a little troublesome. Right here is like 95% of your problem. What I do is this little tab, can you see? Here we go. This little tab, it's not the world's strongest thing, but it's something that gives you a little leverage. So if you put a screwdriver, probably a thinner screwdriver, underneath it, and kind of give yourself a little bit of torquing action. Summon your inner torque. It will start to come out. This one, of course, because like this machine, is probably just going to be difficult the entire time. There we go. Now, it comes right out. Okay. So there's our nasty little piece, and it's plugged. Okay, so we're not going to worry too much about that yet. Inside definitely looks a little gooey. Let's get some pliers. There we are. Probably should have this done beforehand, but it's okay. Take the pin out, the float, the needle, take those all out. Yeah, there's... That's not gas. So let's give this thing a thorough blowing. And let's zoom you out a little bit. Okay. Okay. So now that's done. Let's do the same thing for the bowl. Bowl sufficiently dry. Okay. Let's see here. Let's get a towel. Dry ourselves off a little bit because, well, there's already enough water in this carburetor. At least there was. We don't need to add any more to it. So let's do that. Okay, so usually with the metal ones, you would have to do a whole lot more, but these don't really suffer from like corrosion. I mean, yeah, they get water and they're nasty. I have a love-hate relationship with these because while I'm not necessarily a fan of plastic hardware, it's very easy. The hardest part is this. Now, right here, where we pried up with the screwdriver is a tiny little jet. Now, you don't have to have one of these, but it's a lot easier if you get a air gun nozzle that's rubber. Put that in there, so it makes a nice little seal. On the top there's a like a little ball bearing. Spray, look inside, clean as a whistle. Do the same thing for the other one, still holding the ball bearing. Spray. Ooh, that one's nasty. Let's try this again. There we go. And for kicks, another one. Okay, that is, find a clean part of the towel. There we go. Nice and dry. For whatever reason, a lot of videos on why I've noticed say you just have to replace this, and while, yeah, you probably could, but why? It will work. It's clean now. Maybe I'm just forgetting a step somewhere. I don't know, but I don't think so, because I've done this plenty of times, and trust me, it works just fine. Okay, what's next? Let's take the float. The needle on this float does come off, so bear in mind that. Don't want to be putting something on and realizing that you dropped your needle, then you start it up, you're feeling good about it, next thing you know, it's just overflowing. And this is the season that this is going to be happening to. Let's take a look at that needle. Yeah. Nastiness on my finger, that's not helping. Yeah, needle looks good. I wasn't expecting it to be bad. Well, this is definitely not the cleanest carburetor in the world when we first got it. It really wasn't bad. That's that love-hate part about this type of carburetor. I love them because they suffer from very easily fixable problems. Hate them because it's like working on a porcelain doll. Why is this not wanting to go in there? But of course, if you want to just spend like, I don't know, 30, 50, 60, whatever these carburetors are new, go right ahead. But I'd rather just air compressor are good. Okay, now, I don't suspect it will be, but if you ever want to check to make sure it's okay, below on this one, I don't know about everyone else, but I'm not necessarily a fan of gasoline flavor, so I just take a small piece of fuel line, put it on there, and blow on it. Like this, should be nothing, and let's wipe that off again. And if you flip it over or lift the float up with your finger, preferably your clean finger, unlike mine, it should let it in, and it does, so that's good. This only goes on one way. Just line up the screw holes and make sure this little indent fits over the jet. And there we go. press it on. Nice and firm. Put this back in. Yet again, resist the urge to use an impact. I don't know about anyone else, but sometimes I'm lazy. I want to get stuff done a lot quicker. And an impact is definitely one of those ways. But this is not the time to be lazy. I thought I had a screwdriver. Oh, maybe not. Okay, well, no more lazy. Let's just do it. Socket. They also don't need to be on incredibly tight. Just make sure that the seal is good and you're set. There we have it. Carburetor done. At least that part. Now, let's clean it up a little bit more. Let's see what we have going on here. Sometimes when you take it off there on the intake, this seal will still be there. Make sure it's still there, or make sure you're not missing it. Otherwise, you will have problems. Ooh. Okay, well, didn't miss much on that. Just a whole lot of nastiness in that gas tank. So now we're just going to clean it up a little bit and install. It's nice and dry. Blew out the few battery decides to die. Okay, so I don't know how much didn't get recorded, but that's dry. For the most part cleaner than it was when it came off. So let's try this. We have to figure out if this is the problem or this just seems to be bent. I feel like this just needs to be bent. But then, yeah, it just needs to be bent. Okay. Half of the job of working on a small engine that someone else has owned, obviously opened up, is figuring out what type of nonsense they did. Because instead of just doing it right, oh no, they have to just find a way to mess it up. Okay, so that probably needs a little bit of goo. Oh, WD. Probably gonna smoke when we first open it up or turn it on, but that's fine. So, don't like that. This was more flat. Okay, so this is one of those things that seems to happen a lot to these types of motors. Oh, I can't. You're connected. Okay, well, I'll zoom in. Maybe not. So this little holder, I want to say, gets caught. So what you end up having to do is kind of bend it up a little bit. Granted, I don't know, maybe that's not it. Maybe it's just really nasty inside there. I don't think so. Let me take a look. Okay, so after a little detective work. This little bracket, along with the spring inside there that controls the choke, must have taken a hit somewhere because it was bent that way, so I just straightened it out, pulled it out a little bit, and now, as you can see, there is choke, and then it gets warmer, opens all the way, no problem. Okay, and it closes, no issue, so that's not a problem anymore. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's take... Okay, let's take a look at this. It's one of those twist types. It's actually not bad. Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily the world's cleanest thing, but it's a spark plug. If it was super clean, I'd be concerned. But perfect. So, if everything wasn't lost though, I found an air filter. This will go in the housing. And this is a story. Do you ever have those nights where you're feeling good, maybe you barbecued, and you're buying a few things, next thing you know, this is in your cart, and you have no idea why? Now you know why. Put that off to the side. Okay. So... oh yes. Spark plug. Let's see here. I'm sure someone's not going to like this, but I'm putting it on one, putting it on the plug, and I'm just going to give it a kiss. Maybe two. At least so we can hear it click. And that was a 13/16, by the way. So this squeegees itself on there. Here's a nice click. Well, another good thing about this is after this gets bent, all that is good to go. The very first thing to do, put the tank on. That might be a little easier. Fuel line is not bad at all. I'll just put that back on there. Squish, squish. Put this back in the little slots it came from. What's going on here? There we go. Okay. Perfect. We take our handy dandy little pliers. The fuel line could be on there a little tighter actually. Remember plastic carb. There we go. Back. Would suck if we do all this work just to see that it doesn't work. But it is what you have to realize when you, I don't want to say half it, but you just kind of assume it will work. Let's give this a wipe down. Clean this out. No point of having a clean air filter if the housing is just going to be pumping dirt directly into the engine. That would not be good. Noise alert. Okay. Okay, so now take our screws. That's for the carb. That's for the actual housing. The vent goes on this. That's a pretty big hose, so it's not like you can't see it, but just in case. There we go. Taking that driver, 5/16. It doesn't have to be super tight. You want to make sure it's not flapping in the wind, but you also don't want to put all your body weight on it. So nice in between. Loosen this one. This seems like it wants to be difficult today. Yep, it wants to be difficult. And let's take it off, see which one's bent. Just so we thought we were in a home stretch. Oh, yeah. There's a little guide on the side of that. I thought it was on there, but apparently not. A little piece of corresponds with the guide on the actual housing. Okay, so didn't really miss much, but there is good news and bad news. The good news is the recoil assembly on this works just fine. It needs to be lubed up a little bit, obviously, but this is not the one that came off of it. This is a different one. On the old one, this clip was missing, so that's why. And this the spring on that one was equally as tore up. So this one is going to be our replacement. What I do need to do though is kind of oil that a little bit. So let's get some oil. I don't know how well you're going to see this, but around this little inner circle, not this one, but the one on the outside of it, you'll see a tiny little spring. And in that spring, well, you'll see the end of the spring. In there, you'll see a little hole that you can put a little oil in there. Let's see here. Man, that didn't go very well, did it? Where are you? Okay, let me oil this a little bit better. You ever have those epiphany moments and you realize, you know what? Why am I going against gravity when I can use gravity? Have the little area where you put oil on the top, and oil will just go in there. I also oil the center of it, just kind of make it a little nicer. So, now that we have this cover, now if this was yours and you don't have the extra one, you just go to the hardware store, get a little clip. I'm lazy. I don't want to go to the hardware store right now, so we'll just put this down nice and tight. And there we are. And you didn't really miss much on this. Just put the screw in. Air filter. Only one way to put it on. we are. Same thing with the air cover. Snaps right into place. The bigger versions of this engine, I don't think this works for it. If it does, there's like a little clip or something you have to take off or grind off if you want that to work on there. But now, with the exception of bending that wheel and adjusting this for a person above 3'7", we are almost done. I'm going to put some gas in it, clean up a little bit, and bring you guys back. Okay, so we have it down. The only thing I did is bend that back. Let's give it a pull and see if it starts. Probably should have checked the blade. There's a blade on there. We'll double check it after, but we want to see if it runs. Okay, this is the time when having a short handle is actually useful when it's on the lift. Okay, let's give it a pull. Wow, that is a rattle. Okay. We have two possibilities. Bent crank, that would suck. Don't know what that was. Or a nasty blade. Let me take a look at the blade and we'll take a look together. Okay, so it's off the lift. First things first, there's a good possibility of this actually starting since it now runs. So let us take a pair of pliers. I don't know how hot it is, but it's probably not very hot. And take down this off this spark plug boot. There we go. So if you don't do that, it might start, and from now on you and your friends will be, or you'll be known to your friends as the one-armed Jack or whatever your name is. So what we are doing now is we are looking at a point of reference right here. So that is about a pinky's distance. Now, assuming the deck, you can't really look on the other side, so you have to spin it and look at the same one. And it's rough, about a pinky, so I don't think it might still be. But let's take off the blade and see if it's just like super out of balance. That's the one I'm hoping for. Because that would suck. Do all this work to just then have to put another motor on this. If we do, we do. What is that? This is a 5/8. Okay. Now, you can do this without an impact. I wouldn't. But, well, there is ways. You have to get like bricks or blocks or whatnot. Nah. There we go. Oh, maybe not. There we are. Okay, so quick and dirty way of doing this. It doesn't look that bad. So, let me just take a look real quick here. Oh no, that is almost spot on. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see the angle. Okay, everyone. Bad news. I decided to take this off, put it on the ground. By the way, if you're going to put a mower on the side like this, make sure it's always with the carburetor up. You don't want to drown the little air filter. After taking off the blade, blade is definitely not the problem. The blade is perfectly level, a little dirty, but level. The crank, however, is bad. So, I don't know how well you guys are going to see this, but that's straight, and it's kind of like this. So it's, oh man, that's like 3, 4, 5 degrees. I don't know. It's pretty bad. This motor is not going to work anymore. It's kind of sad too. I mean, I'm not necessarily a fan of these types of motors, but let's see if you can see that. Yeah, well, it's a 2012, 140cc. I went on the internet and you could buy these. It's just 40, 50 bucks to put into this. I mean, there's already a new filter and cover which I could take off and put on another one. I'm sure that will happen again in the future. These covers and everything like to go on trips and never come back. Yeah, so unfortunately, this one is going to need a new motor. There are other options out there. Let's see here. What motors do I have? We could put another Briggs on there. We could put a Lawn Boy motor. Oh, looks like has what is that? Oh, it just says Lawn Boy. I can't see it from here. But then it's like you start to look at this. It's not bad. It's not rusty, but the paint is coming off. I think a cheap little 5 horsepower Briggs. Older, I have a couple of those when I go on there. Strip off the parts that are good on this motor, mainly the parts I put on there. Call it good. Can't save them all, I guess. If you like what you see, definitely subscribe, push that like button, refer your friends, watch it again, whatever you want to do. Just hope everyone found this to be informative. Have a great day.